Retrospective, or basically looking back and analyzing how things went and how to do certain things better, is an integral part of Agile. In Scrum setup, it's done at the end of every sprint, while in Kanban, it's done at a defined interval, let's say in once in every 2 weeks, to improve on how things are being done and moving forward with better ways of achieving the same goal. So, what is a retrospective meeting? It's defined as a special meeting that takes place at the end of a period of work, usually an iteration or software release. In a retrospective, team steps back, examines the way they work, analyze and identifies ways they can improve. So it's important part of the lean concept of continuous improvement. So it always, let's say, what this represents is how you apply the lean principle of plan, do, check, and act on a continuous basis to improve on what you are doing and how better you can do it. So each of those retrospective helps in elevating. So the reason behind our learning, a reflection is a key step in learning from the experience. Ownership, so the team needs to feel it, adapt it, and learn how to do it better. And it also helps with the communication. A lot of time there are built up stress and tension, and it helps the members to reflect and improve on not only the process but also on the personal relationship side, which are critical in a in agile team. So what a retrospective is not is a fault finding meeting. It doesn't focus on the individuals, rather focusing on the system and process and how to do it better. Because one of the key thinking in agile is bad system will always defeat a good person or a good team. So by fixing the systems, you make sure everyone is better productive. And even though it's clearly sometime people problem, this meetings, the retrospective, is not meant for that. So even though there are retrospectives which different teams hate, the fact is retrospective can be awesome, and done right it can help in continuous improvement, respond to the changes in the environment, in the team, etc., improve on the thinking creatively, and make a happier team. So how do you run an effective and engaging sprint retro? This is what we will focus on in the subsequent slides. You got to be preparing well. Say, as a Scrum Master, there's an important role to play in facilitating a retrospective efficiently. We should follow a framework rather than the discussion run wild and getting personal. And mix up games and activities that keeps it fun and engaging is always good strategy. It's also good to track the actions that the output and the results of each of those. Well, generally, it's a matter of checking in. It's like, so everyone answers a question, one or two words like, how do you feel about it? How are you today? And it's basically to set the stage. So there's this exercise that also can be performed. Um, you basically it takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and you kind of ask the team like, which of this four do you feel like in today's retrospective. So if do you feel like an explorer, you're eager to discover new ideas and insight, you learning from the iteration, etc., or the shopper is like, I have a couple of things that I am looking for, and I'm going to I'll be happy to find those ideas and move forward. Or vacationer aren't they are not that interested, but they're okay as it's something to do other than the development that they do every day. So they are happy to be here, but not really that eager about anything. And finally, the prisoner is like someone who is forced to attend and would rather not be attending. And this is like a voting they do on a checklist, perhaps, and give it back to the scrum master, the facilitator, who kind of it's important to also set the goals in the right manner. So, if you remember the story of Goldilocks, where you set a very small goal and then you realize that it's too easy, and you lose focus, and then you set too big a goal and it's impossible, so you get discouraged. So, setting the right amount, achievable target is important, and that's what the team should start with. The next part is data gathering. How do you do it? So there could be several inputs for this: the velocity trend, cycle time for Kanban, cumulative data diagram, etc. All of this comes in the history of blockers and becomes the important part of data gathering. You also kind of share with each other the memories, the experience, and you kind of gather all of those. There could be other ways like pair interviews where you let each of them interview the other and lay out the points, and then again gather all the findings together. And there could be several other games and activities that could be done um, to basically gather more inputs that can be useful. It's a typical example of how it's done on a whiteboard with a few piece of post-its. Challenge cards. So this could be another way of going about it. So to play, challenge team plays a card, solution team picks a card that addresses the challenge. And then there is a point system. It basically encourages to think creatively and to find solutions rather than focusing too much on complaining and what cannot be done. There's another one called brain writing. Each person has paper divided in 4 sections and idea added in one section. Paper passed to the next person who builds on the idea. There are other activities that you can refer to from some of the games, and these are some of the names that are mentioned. So there, that's basically an experiment. There's another way to go about is a five finger consensus. You kind of get a reading on if everyone is kind of in sync. And once you have already identified the action item and you have a consensus, you move towards closing. And you kind of do a few minutes to spend on what worked, what didn't work. So again, how do you run an effective and engaging sprint retrospective? Prepare well, deliberately facilitate, follow the retrospective framework, vary the activities, don't just repeat the same one, otherwise it might get boring. And track actions, have it clearly on the board and everyone can visibly see it and follow it.